Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment, and today let's explore 6 important things to consider when building your wine collection. For a wine enthusiast like me, collecting wine can be a lot of fun. It allows you to study wine in a completely different way. Furthermore, you can be entirely sure of how your wine has been stored throughout its development, and eventually you might get the reward of opening and drinking bottles that in 10 years might be difficult to acquire or afford. I buy wines that I love. Wines I know I will want to continue enjoying over the next years but might not be able to afford anymore. In my wine cellar you will find a lot of Italian reds, plenty of Austrian whites, a bit of American wines, and of course Bordeaux, Rhone, Loire Valley, and a bit of Spain. Somehow I have never been able to build a decent collection of champagne. Those bottles always find reasons to be opened and enjoyed. As a result, I have very little of champagne in my collection. But today we are not talking about specific wines or regions to build your collection on, but rather some principles we should follow when creating our own wine collection. Whether you are just starting your wine journey or are an experienced wine collector, or somewhere in between, these tips will guide you in building the collection in the right way, help you to get most out of this experience and avoid potential disappointments. There can be several reasons why you might want to start collecting wine. Wine can be a great investment and provide an opportunity to diversify your assets. In this case, you will buy different wines and will need to store them differently if compared to someone like me who collects wine for my future self to enjoy later. I buy wines for pleasure, ones that I am sure I will want to open and drink someday. Therefore, I never buy wines that I don't like personally, even though they might be a great financial investment. On the other hand, if you're considering buying wine for investment purposes, you should have the discipline to focus not on wines you personally like, but on wines that are most likely to appreciate in value over the years. Do your research, especially if you're collecting wine for investment purposes. Not all wines from Bordeaux, Burgundy, Tuscany, and Napa are investment worthy, and certainly not all wines will increase in price. Therefore, understanding the regions, sub-regions, single vineyards, climat, and producers is highly important for creating a successful collection. Additionally, in-depth knowledge of vintages and keeping a close eye on how the current vintages are shaping in the classic wine regions is essential as well. For some wine lovers, this might sound like a lot of fun. It certainly is for me. However, it is not just that. Understanding the market is equally important. You need to consider supply and demand, as well as whether the wine of your choice will have any liquidity in the secondary market once you decide to sell it. If all this seems overwhelming, you might want to consider hiring help or finding a consultant. Depending on your goals, you will need to decide where to store your wines. For investment purposes, an external in-bond storage facility with insurance is a must to maximize your return on investment. For a wine lover like me, storage could also mean a cool and dark place, such as area in the garage or under the stairs. For me, it is a wine fridge and basically any empty, darker corner in the house. However, there is an important note to consider for wine investors or really any other wine enthusiast who wishes to store their wines with a third party. Storage expenses should also be factored in. Not all age-worthy wines that we love so much will be able to cover the yearly costs with that theoretical price increase of the wine. Therefore, it might be necessary to do a little calculation of the expected increase in the value of your collection against the annual costs of wine storage and insurance. It might turn out that it is cheaper to buy your favorite Cru Bourgeois with some bottle age cellared in someone else's storage rather than storing it yourself. Loving and enjoying wine will certainly help you, especially if you are creating collection for yourself. However, if you are buying wine and you know you will want to sell it at some point, you should keep your mind rational. Those who buy wine for investment usually have a full understanding of how much they can invest, which wines they want to buy, and when exactly to sell them. And for investors, buying wine in full cases is the smartest choice. Not only because discounts can be applicable here, but also because selling a full case of wine with perfect provenance can be much easier than selling a single bottle. For passion buyers like me, it also makes sense to buy wine in full cases, as this will allow you to follow wine's development over the years. But buying full cases might not always be possible, as it is initially very expensive and can take up a lot of space. Therefore, there might be situations where buying less is actually more. Another tip for us passion collectors, it is to keep the track of number of bottles in your collection, because you may already be at the point where even if you drink a bottle of wine per day, you still will not be able to clear your cellar until the day you die. It is important that, in one way or another, you can track the bottles in your collection. It is easy to lose the track of your bottles and as a result end up with wines that are past their prime. Whether you buy wine for investment or for future enjoyment, tracking your wines, including their vintages and drinking windows, will help prevent disappointment when you realize that the wine has lived its best life in the storage unit. There are several ways to do this. Some people prefer to do inventory once or twice a year and update their notebooks or Excel spreadsheets, while others will follow their wines through online inventory programs. In any case, it is important to stay focused and disciplined, as losing track of your wines is quite easy. This, of course, might come naturally to someone who is investing in wine. Diversifying your portfolio in terms of producers, labels, countries, villages, vintages, and even bottle sizes acts as an insurance against market fluctuations. However, it is also important for wine collectors like myself. Our taste and preferences tend to change and evolve over the time. Therefore, don't be too enthusiastic about buying a specific wine style, especially if you are only starting your wine collection and wine journey. You might end up purchasing wines that you currently enjoy a lot, but not necessarily will want to open and drink with the same enthusiasm later. So here you go, 6 important factors to consider when building your wine collection. I must admit, this is only an introductory video, and each of these factors are worthy a video on their own. So let me know in the comments what wine collecting or investment topics you would like me to cover in the future videos. Meanwhile, you should definitely watch my other video on 7 wine storage and aging myths. Some might really surprise you or even make you angry. Cheers!